Hello, in this video I want to show you my workflow for an image like this. As you can see, this skin it's a good example for work, and we're gonna use the secret sauce, and I select it because the skin is not looking perfect and I think it's a really good example of few things. Let's get started. First of all, I will create an empty layer and I will select the spot healing brush for remove only the big um, things that you want to remove. I will not be trying to get any perfection in this tutorial or video, so let's try to understand the workflow or the intention of the retouch. Okay, um, as you can see, I'm just painting over the big or most notorious imperfections in the skin, and in this part of the process this is all I'm gonna do. If you use or you're very familiar with the patch tool, it's okay. For me, for these situations, I prefer work with the spot healing brush or the healing brush. Difference between these two, well, you have more control with the healing brush, but you need to select a place to take the sample. And with the spot healing brush, all you need to do is paint over the place you want to replace, but you have less control. And in some situations, the ultimate texture after painting is not perfect. So in those situations, maybe it's a good decision just move between these two different brushes. Okay. I did create a shortcut for myself. I can change from the spot healing brush to the healing brush pressing J or key. You can configure your own keyboard shortcuts. I don't know, for me it's faster. Okay, so now the next step in this case will be use the flaking out. I'm gonna run the action and I'm gonna use the regular brush in white color. I'm gonna use something around 30% in opacity and flow. And now I'm gonna paint not a lot over the small dots or spots I want to remove. As you can see, this is a before and after. I'm gonna remove painting with black from here. I don't want to remove anything from here. I rather to have the imperfections, but I'm gonna paint with white in these places. Okay. Next step will be use, in this case, I'm gonna use the red fuck off. I'm gonna select the action and I'm gonna play it. As you can see, I'm not deleting anything or collapsing or flattering the image. I'm just running the actions one over the other. So in any time you can just use the mask or the layers you have below the last action you run. You don't need to flat your workflow or anything. I'm gonna select the red fuck off layer mask, and again using a white brush I'm gonna paint in the places I want to remove the reds. The good of this action, you will not have a gray tone or unsaturated tone. You will have a creamy aspect. Okay, I'm just painting. And now I will use, in this case I think I'm gonna use UT Blender, and after the UT Blender I will use Dodge and Burn, and I will try to not overdo the work with Beauty Blender so we can use a little more the Dodge and Burn. Let's go and select the Beauty Blender. Okay, and now I'm gonna paint over places I want to smooth a little more. Again, as you can see, I'm not deleting anything. All the layers are in the workflow or in the layer panels. Okay. I'm gonna group all these together so you can see a before and after. Looks good so far. And let's move to Dodge and Burn. I'm gonna play the action. As you can see, you have one group and this one is turned off. This group, you can use it for have a better look of the difference in the luminosity of this image. I'm gonna turn it on, and now I will use a white brush. I will start with the Dodge group or layer. In this case, this is gonna add luminosity in the places where I am painting. I'm using just a regular brush. I'm using 10% in opacity and flow. Maybe you will feel more safe using something slower, and I should probably do the same. I think 10%, especially in flow, it's maybe a little too much. Good part of this is you can go as far as you want in details, and you will not destroy texture or anything. You're only changing the luminosity, and using this you can get a really perfect skin texture. And it has created a really good Dodge and Burn tutorial. I think it's in the big group, the big Hello Little Props group. So all I'm doing is painting in the different places where I want to or increase a little the luminosity with Dodge, or in the places where I want to increase the darkening or the shadows with Burn layer. That's pretty all. You will always paint with a white brush because you want to reveal what you have inside the layer mask. I'm gonna move a little the visual help because I want to watch more easy these transitions. Okay, I think it's too much, 10%. Let me move it to 1% so I can have more control of what I'm doing. And as you can see, I'm moving constantly from a closer visual to something more far away. The reason of this is I need to understand the overall shape of everything. If I'm too close, I cannot understand the overall shape, so maybe it's a good call. go a little more far away, just for take a look. Okay. Maybe I want to decrease a little more the luminosity in this part. And I want to increase it a little more over the eyebrows. Okay. And in the center of the eyes. In any time you can paint with black. If you went too far, you can paint with black, and you're gonna hide again the effect of this layer. One thing, and this is important to take a look at this stage, is the weight of the shadows. As you can see in the face, in some places we need more contrast or dark, more deep shadows or a deeper black, and we can increase the contrast or we can work a little more with burn layer. Maybe in this case I will increase the contrast and that's all. If you compare the different shadows or the different black in the shadows, you will notice that in the face maybe are a little lighter. So if we want to have something more consistent or more natural, we need to have something similar in the different blacks. This is before and after the dodge and burn, and I overdone a part in this section. As you can see, I increased too much the shadows in here to define the nose. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint with black color instead of white to make this transition more subtle. Okay, this is more natural. Maybe I want to increase it a little more in here, and let me rotate this, and I can increase the luminosity really close to the lacrimal because I want to increase the size a little of the eye without touching the eye. Okay, better. I'm gonna use the highlight killer for remove one portion of these very highlights in the nose. Let me round a little more this part. Perfect. And highlight killer, where are you? Okay. I'm gonna paint over the highlights. Maybe this is too much. I'm gonna decrease the opacity of the entire group. I think 40%. It's okay. When I increase these highlights, I define it too much the nose, and this is where I create the mistake, so I'm gonna delete it. Better. I'm reshaping this eye, maybe a little more. Okay, let me group all together so you can see a before and after. Again, let me work with black in the forehead. Okay. Let's try to add some light in here. Okay, I know I told you that I will not go in detail like really deep, but I don't know, I cannot. Okay, better. And let me see from far away. I increased too much the luminosity in the second eye, and this is a mistake, so I'm gonna paint with black. Okay, let's see again. Okay, looks good. We need more shadow. I don't know the name of bones in English. In Spanish it's parietal. Parietal. But in English I don't know. Okay, and we can run again one more beauty blender or smooth finish skin. I don't know, I don't want to have a plastic aspect or something without texture. I would rather to have more imperfections in the skin. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work a little more the contrast and maybe the color. This is for, let's call this big group skin. And I'm gonna work a little more the light, maybe with curves. Okay, I don't want to push the colors so much, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna combine two different curves with different blending modes. This one, the bottom one, will be in luminosity, and I'm gonna decrease the opacity of this to maybe 30 or 40%, and I'm gonna duplicate this same curve, but instead of working in luminosity, I'm gonna work it in normal. So I will have a balance between the impact in the color and the impact in luminosity. If I work with one curve at 100% in normal blend mode, when I increase the contrast using levels or a curve, it's pretty much the same. We're gonna increase a lot the saturation, and I don't want to increase the saturation, so I'd rather to work it with two curves. There is different ways to do it. Maybe this is the easiest for understand or replicate in the future. Um, okay, the color it's more or less okay. Maybe we need to work a little more the color palette, but I don't know. This is for light. And what I want to do now is work with the sorcery sauce. Um, I want to extend this part. I don't have any problem with these small wrinkles are pretty soft and it doesn't bother me at all. But maybe this big portion from the left, it's something we need to repair. Maybe we could crop this image a little, but mm, I'd rather to show you how you can do this correction with this image, like with the 100% of the image. In this case, I think we will be just fine using the brush and go option. I'm gonna play the action and I'm gonna use a brush at 100% opacity and flow in this case, and I'm gonna paint something like this. Really simple, nothing special. And I don't know what will gonna happen. I'm pretty sure this will be deleted, but we can mask it after all. I'm gonna play the step 2 and we're gonna need to wait something around 1 minute maybe. Okay, everything is smooth, but I want to recover the right portion for sure. All you need to do is select the layer mask. Well, in fact, the layer mask will be automatically selected. All you need to do is paint with black color and you will be good. Let's see a before and after. And I'm gonna decrease the opacity. I don't want this transitioning here like from nothing to shadows. I want to have some transition. Something like this is okay. Really soft brush and trying to recreate a soft transition like the original. And in here I need to paint. Let me see from farther away. Okay, I'm gonna work at 100% in here. It's not necessary, well, not at least not in every case. In this case it's not. That's my dog. I don't know if you can hear him. Okay, and I don't know, the pure white is just fine. Maybe I want to create a little more impact in some part of the highlights in the face and in the lighting overall. But before that I want to take a look in black and white to see if I'm watching correctly. It's hard to say. We have a lot of white around the baby and it's hard to say which is a good point. I don't know. At some point, you need to follow your instinct. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete this channel mixer and I'm gonna use the visual help. Okay, and now I have a pretty good reference. Of course, we don't want the skin as bright as the white, for sure, but maybe we want something lighter. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate the dodge layer, of course in black. I'm gonna fill the entire layer mask in black with black, and I'm gonna decrease a little the opacity for this. And again, I'm gonna work this only using a brush, just a white brush, because I want to reveal what we have inside this dodge layer. And I'm gonna do something maybe like this, why not? Let me see, and let me move this black point or this constant to the right. It's definitely too much. Okay. This is the good part of not delete or collapse your layers. You can rework it as many times as you need. I'm gonna do one more thing for this image. I will use the eyeliner. I want to increase the impact. So I'm gonna select, I'm gonna run the eyeliner action, and I'm gonna paint in the eyes. And maybe around the mouth as well. Okay, better. If you're more comfortable with really smooth skins, you can always run one more action over this, or even you can use smooth finish skin instead using the beauty blender. With a smooth finish skin you will have something more creamy or soft. You can also work with the texture group you have, or the sharpening details you have inside of here. If you want to go even more with softening, you can decrease the sharpening details group, and the aspect will be really soft. I rather to have something more natural. I don't worry about having imperfection in the skins, and even more if we have a baby and with this skin. Okay, this is, I think this is all, and of course we can go more and more in details, but I think it will be using the same tools but with smaller brushes, and that's pretty old, so it's gonna be just more time doing the same for have a better result. That's all. few things about if you want to work with the red off, my recommendation is do it working in sRGB color space. Do not use it in ProPhoto RGB for sure. And if you can avoid to use it in Adobe RGB, maybe it's a good call, at least for that action in particular. We have a video if you don't know how you can change your color space or your workflow color space. We did create a video and explanations for Lightroom, Camera Raw, and Photoshop for sure. So, okay, if you have any question, you can just ask it in the thread of this post, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.